Good morning, class. Today we're going to learn about the moon phases. So, first I want to talk to you about some objectives that you're going to learn during this lesson. You'll be able to model and identify all 8 moon phases. You'll be able to explain why the moon changes shape, or it doesn't necessarily change shape, but how it looks like it changes shape. And you'll be able to model the positions and motion of the Earth and the Moon to explain patterns of the moon phases. The standard that you're going to be learning in this lesson is obtain, evaluate, and communicate information to model the effects of the position and motion of the Earth and the Moon in relation to the Sun as observed from the Earth. Okay, do y'all want to make moon phases with Oreos today? Awesome. That's what we're going to do today. So, I want to ask, why do you think the moon changes shape in the sky? Good job. Yeah, so it doesn't really change shape. It just looks like it changes shape, and it looks different from Earth because of how the sun hits the moon as it absorbs or orbits around us. And every time it changes shape, like if we have, like sometimes when you look in the sky, you'll see a whole moon or like a half of a moon, then those are the moon phases. And this works because the moon reflects sunlight and it doesn't make its own light. So if you was to take a telescope and look into the sky, you would see a whole moon if you looked into space. But whenever it's rotating around Earth, the sun is reflecting on the moon and it makes it change shape. So sometimes we'll see a whole face of the moon, sometimes we'll see a little piece of the moon or half of the moon, and those are different phases, and we'll learn what each phase is called. Okay. As it orbits around Earth, we see different portions of its lit side, and sometimes we see the whole lit side, which is a full moon, and sometimes none, which is called a new moon, and other times just parts like a crescent or a half moon. So the moon seems to change shape, but really we're just seeing different amounts of the lit side as it moves around Earth. And then I would show a video. Of course, I don't have like the tools to show you the video here, but they would be able to watch a time-lapse moon phase video where it shows like a month of the moon and the different phases that you see in the moon. But I have it on the lesson plan. And then everybody will get a moon journal. I'm going to give each of you this paper, and this is going to be your moon journal that you're going to put in your notebook. And basically what it is before we start our activity, I want you to write on here. It says, what do you think makes the moon look different each night? And basically you're just going to write your best guess. And it doesn't have to be right because it's just before the lesson, what you think the moon looks like different each night. And then after our activity, you'll be able to write, what did you learn about the moon and its phases? And you'll write what you know. And then you'll be able to draw one of the moon phases, like whichever one is your favorite at the bottom. Okay, so let's talk about the different moon phases. So each moon phase has a different name. There's one that's called the new moon. A new moon is, the moon is between the Earth and the sun, so we don't get to see the moon at all. So we just can't see it in the sky. And then there's called a waxing crescent, which is a small silver of light appears on the right side of the moon. So on the right side of the moon, you'll see like a little crescent like this. And with each of these lessons, I would be able to show them a picture, but I don't have a board where I can put up each moon crescent. But in the lesson in a school, I would have each picture of the moon phase, and those are also on the lesson plan. But those will be like each phase of the moon. They will be able to relate the name with the picture. And then the first quarter is half of the moon lit on the right side. So you'll be able to see half of the moon lit on the right side. A waxing gibbous is when more than half is lit. So this is normally when about 3/4, we talked about this in math, when something is 3/4. So about 3/4 of the moon is lit. So more than half is lit, is still growing, and light is on the right. And then we have a full moon when the whole face of the moon is lit up and the moon is fully visible. And then we will have a waning gibbous is when the moon is still big, but it's now starting to shrink and the light is on the left side of the moon. And then what we call a last quarter, which is half of the moon is lit again, but it's on the left. And then a waning crescent, which is where just a small sliver of the moon remains, but it's on the left side of the moon. What is the difference between waxing and waning? Can anybody tell me what is the difference between waxing and waning? So whenever we just looked at our images and we talked about the names of the moon, and we talked about which one is on the left, which one is on the right, can you tell me what is the difference between waxing and waning? Good job. So whenever it's called waning, it is on the left side, but when it's called waxing, it's on the right side, and it's beginning to grow. Waning is beginning to shrink. Good job. If it's getting smaller, what do we call it? Right, it's called a waning. All right, so now we're going to break off into groups and we're going to do our moon phase activity with Oreos. So we've talked about what each phases of the moon are, like new moon, waxing, waning, crescent, gibbous, quarter, and full moon. But now we are going to actually apply that in our Oreos so that way we can see what everybody's learned. And each group will have one moon phase that they will have to do, and then you will get to present it as a group. Okay? So, group number 1, y'all will have a new moon. Group number 2 will have waxing crescent. Group number 3 will have waning crescent. Group number 4 will have first quarter. Group number 5 will have a full moon. Group number 6 will have a waxing gibbous. Group number 7 will have a waning gibbous. And group number 8 will have last quarter. And then our last group is group number 9, and y'all will have waning crescent. Okay, so in this activity, each of you are going to work together to show your moon phase. We've looked at the pictures, we've compared, and there's also a chart that you can go by to see which one, which phase it is. So it has a picture and you'll be able to see the phases. Whenever I give you your sheet, you'll be able to see that. But you're going to take your Oreo and I'll give you a plastic spoon and you're going to basically carve the white cream on the inside of the Oreo to look like your moon phase. And then once everybody has finished their first moon phase, we're going to present it, and your peers, your friends in the other groups will be able to give you like a feedback. So they'll be able to write what they liked about your presentation, one thing that they think you could work on, and then they will rate you with some stars. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stars. So y'all can go ahead and get started working on that. Whenever you finish your one moon phase, I want you to work together and write 2 to 3 sentences and explain what your phase is and where it's at whenever the moon, whenever the sun and the moon, when we're rotating. So I want you to explain, is it on the left, is it on the right? And then we will present. So during this time, this would be I would give them about 15 minutes to work on this assignment, and then they will start presenting. Okay, so now we'll say that everybody's done. I'll call each group up. So group 1 presents. I would listen to them presenting, and their friends, everybody will get a piece of paper like this. Their friends will write, you'll be able to write the name of the presenter. So you're going to write group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and you'll rate them, okay? And then I have a paper that I'm also going to rate their presentation. I will also do group 1, group 2, group 3. And I will just rate them, and this will be more for my feedback. So each group will present. Okay, now each group has presented, and now that each group has presented, okay. So now everybody's going to go back to working in your groups, and I want you to finish completing all of the moon phases. So you've got to see your friends and your other groups present their moon phase. So now I want you to come together and finish working on all of the moon phases. So you're going to get to complete all 8 phases with Oreos. Do not eat your Oreos yet, because I want to be able to look at them, and then at the end we'll get to eat them. So during this time as well, I would just kind of walk around and ask groups of students, like see where they are and provide any feedback that's needed, especially for my students that would have learning extensions that maybe need like some extra feedback or guidance, and maybe provide examples if needed. So this is what their papers with the Oreos would look like. And this is the moon phases. Okay, after everybody has now completed all of their moon phases. I have seen that everybody has completed their moon phases. During this time, as I'm walking around, I would also go ahead and complete their rubric and do their grade scoring. This is something that would go in a file but would also get sent home for their parents to see. And so it just basically is 4 exceeds expectations, 3 meets expectations, 2 is developing, and 1 is needs improvement. So I would explain that to them as well. Okay, class, now everybody has completed, so everybody come gather on the rug, and let's talk about what we learned today. Okay, now everybody is on the rug. All right, so I want to know, what did you learn today? What did we learn about the moons? Good job, good job. Okay, so I want you to tell me, I'm gonna choose 2 people. I want you to tell me, what's your favorite part that you learned? Good job, good job. Okay, so now I want everybody to go back to their seats, and I want you to get out your moon journal paper that we just had, and I want you to fill out your bottom part. So you're going to tell me, what did you learn about the moon and its phases? And then I want you to draw a picture of your favorite moon phases. You can either draw a picture of the one that you and your group did, or you can draw a picture of any of the moon phases that you liked. And then once we finish that, everybody will get to have Oreos. All right, that's my lesson. Thank you.